Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to find some interesting things. We're going to clean up the lake, and we're also going to find out what's living in an aluminum can in the water. So let's get started. Today I've paddled south and around a bend into a quiet bay. We're going to start off by picking up a couple of wrappers. I mean, who doesn't love a bag of salted peanuts when they're out in the boat? Just don't let it end up in the lake. Next, I find some more plastic. Here is the remains of a plastic bag that's been in the water for quite some time. So my husband was out on the water at the same time that I was, and he called out to me, so I paddled on over and said hello. They're enjoying their day fishing. He's got our dog Sage with him. And then he goes to keep fishing, and I turn around to go back. And then I was like, oh, I need to ask him if he needs sunscreen. So I shout, do you need sunscreen? And he says, yeah. So I paddle back on over, and then I hold out my sunscreen. At the same time, he's holding out a bottle of sunscreen for me. He thought I asked if he had some for me. So we chuckled and both turned around and kept going on. Let's see what's going on underwater. I think the colors are very pretty. What do you think this is in the water? Let's pick it up and see. It's a coffee cup lid. Did you guess right? Well, that was trash. I do make mistakes sometimes. I really thought this was a shiny lure that looked like a fish, so I picked it up, brought it out of the water to examine it. And then I realized, oh, that's actually a real dead fish. And then when I dropped it back in the water, you get a nice close-up. I have no idea how there's a stick in the water like this. So I'm about to pick up this aluminum can from the water, and my process is that I shake out all the water and debris, and then I listen, and you're going to find out why I do that. So let's dump out the water. And then I always pause, and then if I hear a flop, 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 I know that there's a little fish in there. This is happening so often that it doesn't surprise me anymore. When I first started finding them in cans, oh my gosh, it would just freak me out. But I've started bringing a tool to use to get the cans open so I can let the fish out without hurting it. So you'll see me here opening up the can because the little fish inside doesn't seem to want to come out the hole in the top. So I'm going to cut a bigger hole, and it's too bad that the video didn't capture this a little better because there is a small bullhead catfish in here. But let's take a look as I release it. Hopefully it'll find a home better suited to him than this aluminum can. Nobody's living in this one. Now let's have a look at all the fish in the lake. I caught so many fish on video. We have largemouth bass, bluegill, and crappie. I don't think I caught any other species of fish in this video. I did see a junior sized muskie, a couple of them actually, but no monsters. Hopefully we can catch one on video soon. Let's pick up another can. And another can. Now back to the fish. The fish with the stripe are the largemouth bass. I am paddling by one of our public areas where you can fish. Sometimes there's a lot of litter here, but not today. Just a lot of fish. And yet another can. This time it's a glass bottle. While the fish keep me company, I find a hard piece of plastic that I pull up. I've been to this area before and noticed this another time when I was out. There is a tennis ball that's grown into the roots of this massive tree, and it doesn't budge at all. And there's also a small tire here that also is really stuck. But I am able to pick up this bait lid, styrofoam for your night crawlers, some more plastic bag pieces. Those always get wound up in things, and sometimes they're hard to remove. Here was my most interesting find of the day. Let's see if you can tell what it is. It's a piece of clothing. Yep, a winter hat. This fallen tree is so neat looking. I love it. Here I find another glass bottle. Kind of looks pretty new. I don't think it's been here long. Now let's pick up what's left of a couple of aluminum cans. This appears to be some fabric that's wrapped around all of these plant roots. And once again, get out my tool to help me cut it off, as much of it as I can get. I do go really slow so I can look for all those trash treasures, spot all the unique wildlife, and just enjoy being on the water. And then I do spot something I have never seen before. Check this out. There are two insects on this log that's pretty far out in the water. They're walking sticks of some kind. They're so neat. Once I noticed them, I saw them a couple more times. They would go in the water, they would fly. That was really cool. Next up is a bottle of soda. I think it was actually soda in it because it fizzed a little bit when I opened it. Here's another fishing bait lid. Here's a look at some more fish. Here I pick up another aluminum can. As I'm paddling kind of fast back towards home, I didn't even realize this was happening under the water, but my camera caught it all. This is like the fish highway. It's just amazing how many are under there. So many fish. They just keep coming. Where are they all going? So neat. And of course some beautiful lily pads making their way towards the surface. I've made it back home, so let's take one last look around our dock, see what there is, and then unload our kayak. Here I'm pulling my kayak up onto this little boat lift. Doesn't really work, it's kind of old and broken, but it gets the job done. Time to unpack the trash treasures. This is why I do what I do, for like's sake. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And now for some bonus material. And now for your bonus video, here is a red-winged blackbird. Just checking out my shoreline. Their calls are very distinct if you haven't heard them before.